It is the sports show. Look at the top corner.
I absolutely love this. So, welcome to Monday Night Sports Show at Amarachi Live. And of course, you guys are looking like, where's Bob? So, he's here somewhere. You know, we're streaming live from Amarachi, located at 189 Bridge Street. And so, I'm Donatella, originally from Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn. And tonight, I get to sit in with Kiss.
Kiss.
I love that. Be careful, be careful. I'm single. Ah.
Kiss.
So, you know, Kiss, tell me, so I haven't watched the sports show, I'm sorry to say, in the last couple of weeks. So are you always on the sports show?
I'm almost on.
Really?
Yeah,
So I get to be the guest. So this is great. And who are you listening to?
We're listening
and
Ty. And Diddy.
P.A. Ty and Diddy. So I know all of them.
Yeah, P. That's his big now.
Is it? All right. So that's great. And we got a seat warming up for P. And so on my show, I require a beverage, a little libation. Do you want anything? Water? Anything?
I don't need no water. And then you give me a red stripe, please.
Can I have a red stripe? Are you drinking?
Huh?
Oh, no, you just like red stripe?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, you know, coming from a female perspective and during this past year of sports, I really didn't keep up at all. Like, I haven't watched any of this, but I do know a lot of Nigerians were drafted.
Oh, yeah.
I know that much. So, MJ, you're not going to come into the camera view and say, hey, it's a totally different show. You guys, we're live in Amarachi, and MJ is one of our beautiful star tempers.
One of the best.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot to offer.
She treats me good. They come every Monday.
You know, and we have a lot of beautiful young ladies who work here. But MJ is known for actually making her own creative beverages. So you can come in, tell her your favorite liquor, your favorite juices or whatever, and she can make something magical for you. Like, well, this is my second beverage for today. I don't know, what is this?
Well, it's basically, it is Johnny Walker Black Label, right? And I mixed it with lime juice, Passoa, passion fruit, liquor, and I put a little bit of guava juice.
Ooh.
That's what you're getting right there.
So does it have a name?
We can call it MJ's Passion.
MJ's Passion. So if you guys are interested in tasting this lovely cocktail, I know ladies like to say cocktails, men like to say drink. Give a drink.
I know.
You like cocktails? You don't have cocktails?
I don't think they like the fact that the word cock is in the tail.
Well, so my dad is watching the show. My dad reads a Bible study every Sunday morning. Daddy, I did not say that. She did. So
give me a drink.
So he would not be happy. He would not be having a cocktail. So why don't you take time to tell me what's the most exciting thing that's happened in sports in the last week to you?
The most exciting thing?
Yeah.
My Giants is winning.
Are they?
Yeah, they won. They have a shot. They have a shot at the playoffs.
So how are you guys? This is what I am wondering. How are you getting into sports if it's all virtual?
Oh, I still get to watch it. I don't need a fan. I get to watch the players play without any interruptions from the fans.
Really?
Right, so,
Well, I guess that's true. I guess if you didn't go to football games live, watching it on TV is the same thing. But there's nobody in the stands, right?
No, we're not in the stands.
Here you go.
Thank you.
MJ, turn to this camera right here and say hi. No. Don't you just hate when people don't corroborate?
I'm just saying a little.
So what we need to actually pull the table closer to you, right? So that looks like beef suya.
Yes.
So I wonder why I've had 2 cocktails and no food. But this young man comes in with his bright smile, he gets a red stripe, and he gets beef suya with sliced onions.
What would you like, Donatella?
I would like anything you'd like to give me, young lady.
All right, so I'm gonna give you. I think you should get the red snapper with effort with plantain. But I know you like your jollof rice too.
That sounds good. I don't know if I can eat that on camera though.
Oh yeah, because there's too much bone.
It has a lot of bones,
Do
right?
the salmon suya.
Oh, why don't I get your meal?
What's my meal?
The F-O-R-E-O, what's it called? And the shrimp? Is that
That's
what
one
you
of them. I switch it up.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever you gonna give me, I'm happy with. All right, I'll get excited. Sorry.
Kiss me good, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so again, we're streaming live from Amarachi Restaurant, located right off of the Manhattan Bridge, 189 Bridge Street, right as you peek over into Brooklyn. We're here talking sports, and Kiss is just saying how he's excited that the Giants are going to make it to the playoffs. Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, and for me, I don't know. Now I need to watch a football game because I'm wondering, how do the players themselves psych themselves out if there is nobody in the audience?
I think it's because it's just natural.
And maybe the paycheck is an incentive.
That too. I think it's big. I think as far as the pro players, I think they already have that mindset of playing without they practice. It's like practicing it's an actual game, so they practice without fans. So going to a stadium playing a full game without fans, I think it's just like a mindset that they put themselves in to get themselves ready for it. Like, okay, I know there's not gonna be nobody. Yeah, I think in the beginning, like when the season first started, it probably was kind of different, not having a crowd.
And so are there people on the sidelines, like, has the water boys still run up and down and do stuff?
I mean, yeah, it's still everybody from the team is still on the sidelines.
Wait, today is Monday. Isn't this week the first week that they're going to have the all-black linesmen?
I do believe so.
Yeah, so as a single black woman, I pay attention to when my brothers are coming out in force. And so I do know that this week, the first time in history, and we're going to come back to that topic because I know Bob wants to chime in on it. First time in history where all the linesmen at a game will be a people of color. And I'm so excited. Shout out to the brothers. That's gonna be huge.
That's gonna be huge.
That's huge. I think that's tonight.
They never did it before.
And so I'll give you a secret. Several years ago, I used to work for the NFL doing technology, and I remember talking to some of the linesmen, the coaches on the phone, and it always amazed me how did they enter in those statistics. So in a timely manner, and it was always funny to me. A lot of them really didn't know technology. So they would have these laptops and they would have issues and things, and it was always really kind of funny.
Yeah, see, this is something I'm getting here for the first time, so I'm getting to know all this. Baby.
Yeah, and I don't share my grown-up self with my entertainment self, so that's something that Doug doesn't even know that.
All right.
Yeah. So we said the Giants are winning, and I do know when it comes to baseball, we have that one young man who has kind of got caught with some type of stimulant enhancer. He's going to miss 104 games next year. He's forfeited a $24 million contract.
Yeah.
And he's 38.
Yep.
And that's typically like, toward the end of your playing season, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder.
By your last, 38 is by.
And this is his second offense, right? This is a second offense.
Yeah.
This is a second offense. So I think it's a second offense. If he gets caught again, he's banned for a lifetime. But so,
And he forfeits his money.
Right. Well, he's forfeited $124 million anyway, right? Because he's not going to play. And does he still get
I think
paid?
he still gets. I think he still gets paid because he's not banned, so he still. I think he still. I think he's not getting paid the whole. I don't think he's getting paid the whole. Yeah, he's getting. Yeah,
Poor him, right? He doesn't get the whole 24 million. So I'm wondering, I think it's like anything, right? Let's say I make $10 a year, right? I'm usually probably spending 13. So just think about these athletes and how the pandemic's impacted them, and then the ones who get, hurt or injured and they can't play in all the games. So I'm thinking, if he was anticipating making $24 million up until, let's say, last week or the week before, chances are he's probably spent a good majority of the 24 million. There's cars, if he has kids, they're in school, if he's married, there's a wife, there's mortgages, and then if you're a good son, you probably bought a car for your house, for your mom, your dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and now there's all that money that's not coming in.
Yeah, hopefully he was smart and invested or bought some type of businesses to have.
Or he has some insurance.
Keep some income coming in.
Or he has a side hustle.
Yeah, but you're gonna be cold with it.
Oh my goodness! And if he's married, I'm sure his wife is kicking his backside.
Yep, because she probably like.
That's one less Birkin. No, I shouldn't say that. They have all these memes about Birkin bags. I don't own a Birkin bag. But these are some great topics that I'm sure Bob Jones is probably going to have to revisit because those are hot topics. Let me see. What else? What else in sports is going on?
Let's see. The Knicks is trying to improve their team.
Well, I heard they got a new player, which is exciting. I'm of the mind that I like to tease my Knicks fans and tell my friends that support the Knicks and say, never in your lifetime are you going to see a ring. And they get all mad and furious.
I would never say. I'm always a big Knicks fan. I just didn't like the way it was going. Mm-hmm. So I'm never gonna say the Knicks is better. I just think once they improve their team, once they get away from James Dolan, the Knicks will be better. Once they find a new owner, they'll be better.
But what are the chances of that happening?
I don't know. But James Dolan is a curse to the Knicks.
Really? You think it's the owner?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because you gotta look at he don't fire every single coach. He refuses not to be racist, but he refuses
to hire a black
African American coach. Mm-hmm. So what we had Mike Williams. Mm-hmm. He got rid of him.
Well, how was he performing?
He actually had a decent season when Mike Williams was the coach. Because they didn't make it to the playoffs. He
was in the playoffs with Melo in them.
Yeah, he did go, but they
win the championship. Yeah, it's like.
So he fine.
And so, this is what would show me if Mike Woods was really good. Did Mike Woods go somewhere else? Yep. And how did that team?
He never became a head coach.
He never became a head coach.
He's been an assistant.
He went to another team.
Oh, he took a demotion and hasn't been able to.
The other team that he went to already had
head coaches. Yeah. I wonder how that works. I mean, after being a head coach of a huge team like the Knicks and being losing a job and then going somewhere else and being an assistant, I would think that's hard. How do you ground yourself back to thinking like an assistant coach as opposed to a head coach?
Mike Woods wasn't always a head coach, so you can't.
It was easy to slide back.
I don't think it was that hard for him to get back into that mindset. Everybody is angry like you had a top job and then you got to go back and be the number 2 or second to somebody else when you had your own team. I believe in my brothers. I believe they'll get back there.
They will be back.
So he's options out there.
And this is the year. I mean, with all of the I think with all of the tragedy that has happened in 2020, I would have to say for me, the most positivity I've seen is the amount of black and brown people who are exceeding and being successful across multiple industries right now.
Yeah.
You know, I know that ABC has a new senior vice president, senior VP, which is a person of color. We're finding that a lot more. We already talked a little bit about, you know, the linesmen. First time we're going to have all black or all African American, I'm not sure what the politically correct title is, linesmen in a game ever in history.
Yeah,
Referees. So I think this is the time that if you're going to push somebody to the forefront, you should. You should.
No, I totally agree.
So, what's your favorite sport? Basketball?
Yeah, I love football. Basketball always going to be my favorite sport.
Number one? Why basketball as opposed to any other?
Only because I grew up in high school.
Did you play?
Huh?
Did you play?
I tried out.
Well, that's the other. If you didn't make the school or college, what position did you want to play?
Huh?
What position did you want to play?
I was number two.
Number two. Okay.
So now I'll take that back. Me personally, I would prefer to be point because I never know because even when I was in high school, I was a shooter.
Right.
Even though I would try out, I was not a point guard because I like to set plays.
Okay.
I'm not a shooter. Let me be a Russell Westbrook or something. Let me
finesse the ball.
Let me just get. Let me get the plays involved. Let me set the plays. If I get more points, I'm cool. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, you got to be the supporting staff.
Yeah, I rather have my team get scored and let me set it up. I want to be the one that gotta be in crunch time. No, you gotta shoot.
Yeah, and everybody look at you when you gotta make the ball on the buzzer.
Yeah, I prefer the point.
I think I grew up as a kid watching basketball, you know, with my father. I think those are some of the fun points that a lot of people have in their family with bonding, especially as girls, traditional. You know, you got to sit around and watch football with your dad or basketball, and I think that's how they develop that whole, you know, a girl's first boyfriend is really like her dad, and that's why we need fathers at home. That's where it kind of sets the standard for the type of men that you interact with in life. But I like boxing. And so I believe on November 28th, there's supposed to be a boxing match between, is it Roy Jones and Mike Tyson?
I heard him say this, but I don't.
Yeah, it's November 28th, I think.
Oh,
that's right there.
This weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna check. I think it's November 28th. But for me, I'm trying to figure out. I haven't had a chance to look. Is this supposed to be a real fight, or is it, you know, like a fundraiser? You know, where they get in like the old Rocky Balboa movies, where they're just touching gloves and, you know, doing a little talking.
I'm not sure.
I think. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think it's Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I'm trying to confirm, but you know, the internet is never really telling you which one. It's November 28th? Awesome. So, you know, our friend P, who's very, very, very important to the show, is just coming in. He's going to take off his jacket and have a seat and join us. And so he's confirmed that it is a fight on the 28th. It is Mike Tyson. It is Roy Jones. And back in the day, you know, I was a huge fan of Roy Jones. Huge. And Mike Tyson. But I feel like ever since Mike Tyson went to jail and become a Muslim, he doesn't have that beast inside him. I don't know. I'm looking for it. So, is it a pay-per-view? It must be a pay-per-view fight because it's coronavirus, right? I wonder if well, no, in a place of business you can't, because I know back in the day, in order to order a fight in a business, it's something like $10,000, I think. So it would be nice if we could see her. Hey, P, welcome to the room. How are you?
I'm good.
So today I get to hang out with the fellas. And MJ is gonna bring you something to drink, water or whatever.
No water on Mondays. So
Yeah, well, I like to start. So why don't you catch us up with what were you doing on your way here? What?
well, just worked, learned a new system today. Other than that, workers' compensation is changing.
Oh, compensation?
Yeah, workers' comp is changing a little bit. So we had to watch this video today. So we could get up and arrest minimum changes for 2021. But other than that, I'm all right. I can't complain.
That's awesome. So, while you were on your way in as a single female, I had to be excited and kind of talk about the Nigerians that were drafted last week.
Yes, that's big.
Yeah.
It's very big. The global market has been, coming up, but it was, at first it was mostly European players, Ginobili, Dirk, so we finally got some Nigerian brothers, It's been, they had Ibaka, but to see 6 of them
at one time
is very big, you know what I mean? It's very big for the NBA, and I'm happy. I'm happy for those brothers.
I am too. And so I'm going to ask you something silly. Do you think that the current movement, the BLM movement, had anything to do with so many teams wanting to, not wanting to, but not being afraid to reach out and pick these brothers to be drafted?
Possibly. But the overall view, if you're not the Knicks, you want to win. You can't continue to suck as a franchise.
I like that.
And these brothers are talented. We gotta give them credit. Like you don't make it to the NBA if you don't have some type of talent.
Agreed.
I played basketball and listen, it's a hard game. It's not as easy as it looks.
I agree. What position did you play?
I was a scoring guard. I wouldn't say I was a point guard because I didn't really like passing. I wasn't good at
you didn't share.
I shared when I wasn't the best player on the team. You gotta share. But yeah, like I like to score. I wouldn't say passing was my thing.
Okay, MJ, when you get a chance, can we get a beverage for P? Hi. So while we're talking, I think it's very interesting everything that you had to say in terms of probably thinking that it was easier for them to grab these people. But you're right. You don't make it to the NBA just because you feel a diversity checkpoint. It's not like corporate America.
They have to value something you bring to the table. Like they have to value your shooting ability. They believe you could be a defensive stopper, a lockdown defender. There's different positions in the NBA now.
I agree. So one of the other things, well, you know what? Let me ask you something. So this is really your show, and I'm kind of just hanging out with you guys today. I'm all excited because I've been trying to get on the Monday night sports night, and Bob normally wouldn't let me, but today I get to hang out. So
That's what's up.
This is a lot of fun. I asked Kiss at the beginning of the show, and right now I'm gonna let Kiss kind of hang out and enjoy his beef suya. If there was anything you wanted to bring me up to speed on, because I admit during the pandemic this past year, I really haven't kept up with sports. I wasn't excited about trying to watch things remotely that didn't have an audience, because that's part of the, for me.
Well, if I had to discuss something, I would talk about high school sports.
Okay, local?
Yeah, local, yes. Basically, I would say local because there's a lot of, gang violence, killings, and I feel like it's because these kids have nowhere to turn. Like when I was in high school, I had gyms, I had the YMCA, after school programs. Like there's nothing for these kids to do, and they turn into violence.
I would agree with the exception that, and it's just so ironic, I have been watching, lately I've been watching a lot of New York One. And New York One has a feature where they do local high school sports. And so what I thought was interesting is how a lot of the local high schools in Brooklyn and Long Island have made an extra effort to make sure those graduating seniors or promising juniors who play sports are still getting an opportunity to be seen by the scouts, right? So there was actually this summer a camp for a lot of these kids to come out and kind of demonstrate their ability in a safe environment. And one of the young men who, was talking about it, he was saying exactly that. During a normal summer, he would be able to go home, he would see other kids on the playground or,
During a normal summer when I played basketball, I would have 3 to 4 games a day.
Yep.
I would have maybe one at noon, one at 3, 4 o'clock, and maybe one at 6, 6:30. That's what, that's what the kids is missing.
Oh, and there's no what is it called? The basketball court where the Rucker. There's no Rucker this summer either.
It wasn't a lot, and that's what I think. Like people that could give back, I think that's what we got to get back to. We gotta help the youth.
I agree. And how do you suggest we do that? Because right now we're on the verge of being back inside. You've got a lot of kids that don't have a place to go. There are a lot of kids who are trying to find summer jobs. They're not there. There's definitely nothing for them going into the winter months. What do you think we can do remotely, right, for some of these kids that are athletically challenged?
That's a really great question. To be honest, I think you have to get a collective group of people to sit down and analyze ideas and the movement going forward. Like off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because I see frequently that you have a lot of schools creating cooking programs for like the younger kids where you can cook online with a chef at your school, but then that adds an extra burden on parents to go out and get groceries who are already economically challenged. And I was trying to figure out these kids who have all this energy, how do you harness their physicality, right, while they're inside on Zoom? And I was wondering if it wouldn't make sense for a body of people to get together and reach out to the Microsofts and the Apples and the top gaming people to say, hey, you've got all this, and I don't know anything about gaming. I haven't played since Atari, right? But it would make sense to me that somewhere there's some big brain saying, let me come up with a remote game that these kids can access and play where they're being physical inside the safe walls of their house and still be competitive, because I know that there are a lot of golf simulation games where people can practice their tee. So there must be some type of football thing that you could do online. Yeah, I think that's something we're approaching, especially for Brooklyn. A new runoff for the Brooklyn Borough president. We have people running for mayor, and I think we as a group, or you guys as a group, for representing the sports show, can kind of put it to them. Hey, what kind of remote programs can you put together for our kids that are sitting idle? Because I think just yesterday in Brooklyn we had a Sweet 16 birthday party for some kid, and after the party, there ended up being several people shot, and one fatality.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard about that. That's not really too. That's not really too far from me.
No, yeah. A friend of mine lives on that very same block.
Yeah, sad. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's a Sweet 16. I don't know why you're into that. at 16 years old. Like I don't
And
get it.
and it doesn't necessarily. Again, I'm not sure if the people who were involved were in the party or after. I know that's a hot block anyway.
No, I get it. I get everything, but at 16, there's so much things in the world. I don't think I can't grasp it. Like,
Yeah, the children today, they're growing up. I think. Just think about it. When you were 16, when I was 16, the biggest thing I was thinking about, I had just got my learner's permit at 15, 9 months. I was busy thinking about how I was going to talk my mom into letting me drive without her, having a crush on a boy and how to like giggle around him, but not what kids are dealing with, the pandemic, they're dealing with isolation from friends. And if you're already kind of awkward, you know, being stuck in your house, and then some of these kids are stuck inside with parents they don't even like.
Like, listen, man, I just think you're talking about giving 25 years away of your life. 25 years we're talking about it. And you're basically taking away from another person. Like, it's just, it's a terrible thing. Like, I don't, there's always going to be violence, I think. But for these young kids, like 25 years,
So 25 years for the gun charges?
if you kill someone, you're getting 25 to life.
Yeah, and again, I have no idea if it was a minor that did the shooting or an adult or whatever, but yeah, it's just it's insane. But I think that when we were kids, and I think we were kids at a different time. I think you're older than me. I'm joking. You're not. It's a joke. But I like the fact that you're a gentleman and you want to play along with it. But I think that when I was a kid, you have a certain level of immortality, right? When you're a kid, 20-something and 30-something was old. And your grandmother was ancient, you know, like she was, you know, she was the Walking Dead. So at 16, these, in my opinion, I think these kids now, especially with social media, they have a whole different line of competition. They are, you know, you're 16 and you're competing now with grown-ups for attention. Because you have grown-ups on social media that are behaving like children. That's really what TikTok is.
Yeah, I think TikTok is a fun thing. You know, I think social media is a little too much for me personally, because I don't believe, like I wasn't raised where you put your business on social media.
But is it really a business? Because people
No,
are,
some people use it that way.
Yeah, but some
people you can know everything about them just by viewing on social media.
but do you know everything about them, or do you know everything about what it is they're trying to project? Because what I try to tell people is that most people are not posting being laid off during the pandemic. The lights are off, the refrigerator's open, the refrigerator's empty. This week I had to choose between buying my new pair of Timbs or putting beef in the refrigerator.
But no, I get what you're saying, but that's real. I would prefer to hear and see that.
Yeah, but that's not what you
say.
say. Yeah, and how do you tell? You know,
There's some of these people I know in real life. Like I know them.
well,
Like that's what I know them. I know it's not. I know it's far from the truth.
yeah, no, agreed. And I think that's what needs to be communicated to our youth, that when they view social media, they should view it kind of with one eye open and one eye closed, because you're only getting a partial of that reality. And I think that's the hard part. Well, oh my goodness, look who's joined us. Hi, Bob.
What's up, y'all?
Oh,
You know, I had to do some payroll. You know, I had to get some things. You know, it's a big week, so I didn't
Absolutely.
want my staff not to have P-notes. I didn't want them not to have their coins. You know, so I had to take a time and allow you to gel in that position.
and I enjoyed
For
it.
me, you did an amazing job. I mean, I don't even want to do that anymore. I think we can expect you to be here every Monday. I mean, you and P got so much chemistry going on.
I
just taking my time. Like, let me just get my pitcher of water. Wait for my introductions. I'll put my order in for food.
You told me to get it from you again.
Okay, I would like some shrimp suya, some beef suya, some spinach, plantains, and some beans, all in one plate. But small portions.
Small.
Yes. Spinach.
MJ, I think
Go in my pocket and pass me my phone, please.
You want beef and shrimp suya?
yes.
Can you go in my pocket and pass me my phone?
Go in your pocket?
Yeah.
Oh, not very few men will let you go in your pocket, but I think it's easy to let MJ go in your pocket. For one, y'all not married and y'all not dating, so she's just gonna pull whatever it is and give it to you.
It's just I'm a watching thing. That's how we do. It's just how we do. We go in our pockets, go in our coats.
Well, in order not to be left out, I have my FOE roll, my suya, shrimp suya, and plantain.
Yes,
and
you should show it on camera.
I was going to do that, but lots of times Bud tries to be very. I'm trying to figure out where is the camera.
It looks good.
It does. Let me see FOE roll, which is excellent.
And you know what I love? The fact that you guys are trying to pronounce these things right, and I love it, man. I feel like I'm doing my part to export our culture from Africa to America.
You are,
and it's working. I got y'all eating that for real right here in Brooklyn, New York. Who else would have done that? You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Who else?
It's true.
Got y'all eating our favorite soups from home. Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important, because for me, there are lots of times I've been in New York for a long time. I would tell you the number, but then when I say I'm 33, you wouldn't believe it, right? But
maybe 34.
Yes, that's it. But I think this is actually the only Nigerian restaurant that I've actually sat in and I've dined and I've eaten and I've partaken of family and things of that nature. But you guys consciously make an effort not just to serve the food, but to make it an entire experience.
Yes.
And that's what I love. Down from the kente cloth on the table, the explaining of where the food originates from, the correct enunciation. It took me now about 10 episodes.
10 weeks. But you got it down pat.
I do.
I mean, like I said, this is, it's just been, I just think we have so much embedded in our culture and our history, and really and truly, we're one people. Like, that's really the ultimate point of my existence, because when I'm out in the street, people look at me, they don't think I'm Nigerian, they don't see me as a Nigerian, until I open my mouth and say it, they're like, oh wow, and I'm like, exactly, like, there is no difference between you and me. We've put all these barriers, to divide us. I'm American, I'm Caribbean, we're all one people. So as we celebrate, yes, 8 Nigerians were selected in the draft.
Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I thought it was 7.
We should all celebrate that, yes. because that's just a more of an acceptance of an awareness that we are one. Because if we truly didn't think we were one, we would say they were inferior. They weren't good enough. But we're really accepting that these guys have the talent, And we share the same gene pool, so it's all part of it. It's just the names are a little bit different, they're a little bit harder to pronounce, but we are one people.
And it's interesting. Before you joined, I asked the question to P and to Kiss. Do you think that the current mood in the nation, considering BLM and everyone's willingness to be associated with Black and Brown organizations, made it easier for these teams to step out of their norm?
Quite honestly, I think it's a little bit different. I don't think to the average person, BLM means nothing to the average black person. Black Lives Matter doesn't mean anything. We don't know what it is. We don't see it. It's not in our community. You haven't seen the Black Lives Matter bus stop or Fulton and Nostrand to greet or shake people's hand.
That's true.
We don't know who they are. So it's only a thing you find when the country is talking about protesting. But what you will hear is now you go into stores and you will hear David O. and you will hear Wizkid.
Right.
People are to music, which is what we did from years ago. Yes. Introducing the music, the music, the feel good, the dancing, the nice emotion you get out of it. These artists are the ones. Burna Boy, these guys are the ones. Mr. Easy, one of my favorites. They're the reason why we are being accepted into homes. We are, it's becoming commonplace. People are speaking the languages, saying certain things that they hear in the songs. They heard Jollof Rice, they heard Rasuya. They try it. They go to us and try it. They like it. So I look at music and sports. You turn on the the MMA. Mm-hmm. One of the best fighters is Nigeria. You turn on boxing.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely, you turn on boxing. One of the we have several champions in boxing. You turn on basketball. You see a bunch of Igbo boys. Iguodala. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Giannis, 2-time MVP. Since that hasn't happened since Hakeem Olajuwon, so Nigeria right now is the current most valuable player in the NBA. If you turn on the NFL, you have several. I mean, there's so many Nigerians in the NFL, it doesn't even make sense anymore. So I think it's really the social structure and the closer the relationships between the Nigerians and the Americans in the classrooms, to the clubs, to the restaurants. That interaction is allowing for growth and is allowing for the exchange. And it's only going to continue. It's only going to get better. What we want to see now is the government in these African countries make serious attempts to invite people over there as guests, as visitors, to come and see and come and partake and renew their acquaintance with Africa. That's really what we want to see. And when that starts happening, now we're in the ballgame. Now you're really starting to shape numbers, financially, economically, socially, when you have that, two-way exchange going on. But it's extremely exciting.
I think so. I personally, Bob, I have to. I'm being distracted.
The food.
The food is delicious. The effervescent roll is a little spicy. I just had to bring it back to the importance of how good this food is. But also, I have to thank you for allowing me to join. And I had to situate my fro around this headset, which is really not friendly to my look, but. I wanted to just take a moment to interrupt your show. I have a colleague, friend who is viewing right now live on Facebook from London, who provided me a T-shirt that I have to show you.
Yes.
And I think you can't see the tie.
That's dope.
And so what's unique is last year this time I was in Nigeria, and I met a gentleman named Stan T, who opened a coffee shop in Lagos. And it's called Maya's Cafe. And then due to the pandemic, everybody kind of turned the pivot. He had a clothing line that was kind of on hold, but the clothing line is based out of London. And this is the thing I've always heard about Nigerians, no matter where they're from, whether they're UK based or not, they're always are very, very productive and very hard working. So you have Maya's Cafe, you have El Tai, which is a clothing line in London. And so he sent me a T-shirt that I could wear on the show, and I meant to mention it. And so now, of course, I'm going to hit him up. So, guys, I need your sizes because he has the nice collared polo. So I can get something for you too.
And one of P's on there, P does most of our Amarachi shirts, so maybe we could send some Amarachi shirts to his boutique in London.
I would love to do that.
Cross continental.
Yes, we can send it to them in London or even in Lagos. And what's really nice, what I like is that when I was in Lekki, phase 1 last year, he actually set up a kiosk in multiple clothing stores throughout Lagos, where he had a little Maya's Cafe corner where they could buy the coffee and and yes, and they also, well, the t-shirts hadn't launched yet, but they have the coffee, and they also do cocktails in Lagos. So let's see if we can exchange some things.
That's what we're doing.
That would be great. So
now, Mr. P, I want to talk about some sports.
I'm listening. I'm here.
Tonight, let's talk about tonight's game. We got yes, sir. Yes,
I want to talk about last night's game. I don't know about that game. Which one? KC, Kansas City, and the Raiders.
So I had this problem, right? I'm awake the whole day. I'm awake. I'm here in German. I drive home. I'm awake. As soon as I sit down in my couch in my house, it's like within 30 seconds. I wake, and it's the same reaction. I wake up like, shit, it's 12:30. It happens unfairly. I missed every fourth quarter. I don't know what happened. I got wait till 6 in the morning to find out that, they pulled it out because when I went to sleep, Oakland had the lead. And late in the fourth quarter.
It was honestly a great game. What I'm going to say about it is, I think Oakland is tired of being called the little brother.
Yeah.
And they're starting to challenge. KC. Because the whole game, it was like a fist fight.
Yeah.
One after the other.
Oakland would jump out, go down the field, score. KC come back, score. Oakland go back, score. There's a shootout at the beginning. And then it started to slow down in the second half. Oakland took the lead with about, I would say, 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
But it's a little too much time for Patrick Mahomes. We know that. And Patrick Mahomes won the game. But if Oakland played them in the playoffs, they do have a shot.
Well, I mean, they've shown they're the only team to beat them in like the last freaking 2 years. But they know that, listen, we can beat these. It's kind of like how the Giants and New England were at that time. Mm-hmm. No one's going to say that KC is not better than Oakland. But Oakland, they know in their hearts, they could take these guys. They've taken them before, so they don't want to see these guys before. So they want to avoid the route of facing Oakland. Because at this point, Oakland has speed. I think Aguilar, as much as he dropped passes last year, he's money this year. He's money. Speaking about catches, did y'all see that CeeDee Lamb catch? Cowboy, he twisted his entire body. I was like, I saw that. You make sure the replay on I saw that catch.
The NFL wants to make that division.
You see guys, honestly, I see a guy like CeeDee Lamb, and I feel like he needs his own team because he's the third receiver in a good set of receivers. I think he needs to be a number one. Like he has a talent, and he came highly rated, but he got Amari and Gallup ahead of him. And I think he needs his own team.
They're gonna go.
They're gonna kick those guys out.
Once he gets there, like I think he's about a year away from being the actual man. Like he might take one of those jumps like Metcalf took.
Yeah.
Like next year, I think they're gonna have a decision to make. And it's probably Cooper.
It's Cooper.
It's probably Cooper that has to go, but he's
big time. He's big time. What else happened yesterday? I think Baltimore. We have a resident.
Wait, where you going?
Baltimore. How you let a team come on your field, stand on your 50-yard line, basically pee on it, and then start a fight, and then beat you again?
Sorry.
Thank you. MJ, you guys, we are filming live from Amarachi Lounge, and that's where you're seeing this cuisine come from.
So I mean, when I think about Baltimore, I think about great defense.
Yeah, but you know what?
You sure, right? Okay.
Yeah. So you know what what I see when I look at the Ravens is the fluke is over. The mystique about them that they had last year, when they was able to punch guys in the face, run the ball continuously, just try and run it down people's throats, the league has figured it out. So now he has to throw a little bit more. They didn't go get a no receiver that can get open on the regular.
That's right.
That's why they had Antonio Brown. Yeah, he had 4 catches, 28 yards. He played. He had 4 catches, 28 yards. But they went there and got him nothing. The league has made their adjustments. Like,
well, if they can figure out a way to get Dez involved, that'll be good for them. Plus, they've completely ruined their running game. The running game was their strong suit.
yeah, but it's not the running backs. The quarterback. But, like, he really was a quarterback.
But I remember Mark Ingram also being very effective. I don't see that no more. They run out to get like 20 yards a game, 30 yards. Like, you're not going to beat nobody.
Tennessee hasn't stopped nobody in a really long time. They was able to stop them. Tennessee ain't stopped nobody.
So you're saying they got 3 garbage running backs? They got 3 running backs.
No, I'm not saying, but they're putting 8 in the box. They don't care. When teams play them, you're not going to run all over us. You're not going to do it. So what's happening is it's 8 in the box. You get man-to-man on the outside. They're not winning.
And the tight end. Tight end had a big game too yesterday. And there was some balls he could have caught that he didn't catch. And they were perfect passes, but that's the same thing. That's the problem with Lamar, his accuracy.
Yeah, but you're not going to beat a good, and what I'm starting to see is they're not going to beat a good team that's coached well. Like, Tennessee stuck to their game plan, even when they were using it. Garrett Henry, here you go. Continue to feed what happened. As soon as they get quiet, 29 games over, see you on the body. Listen, he still got 30 touches.
And Lamar had a chance to win the game late. The end of 7 for a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
It would have never went to overtime. It would have never went. Give Lamar, and they like that first and goal at the 4-yard line.
That's what I'm saying. Like
How do you not run the ball 3 straight times?
They were able to beat the Colts, and I thought they turned the corner. When they beat the Colts, I thought, all right. The Ravens. Beat the Colts. I was like, okay, this is a good win.
Now you talk about a tough team. I think the Colts are very, very tough team.
Yeah, but they're well coached.
Very tough team. Who's their coach?
Frank Wright.
Frank Wright.
Yeah.
Very tough team. Nothing flashy.
No.
Nothing sexy.
We're gonna go right behind this big offensive line. We're gonna run. We're gonna play good defense.
And they got this little white boy rookie wide receiver. I think he's gonna be another good one. He looks real good. Like two weekends in a row I've had him, and he's scoring touchdowns, long plays. Like, he looks like a really good one. He looks like basically he's taking T.Y. Hilton's job.
What's the matter?
I think this is good.
Well, this would not be the place to say it.
We're gonna change right.
He's a coach? He's a coach?
MJ.
It's cold. We're gonna change right.
Okay. Well,
Natalia, I'm giving you a break while you know.
and I'm enjoying it because I'm eating my shrimp.
Tonight, we got Tom Brady going against the LA Rams.
I think it's a close game.
Thank you.
I think it's a very physical game. But I see Tom Brady making just enough plays. If I had to pick a score, it would be either 23-20.
So we don't have not a shootout, but not a defensive lockdown either.
No.
So it's not going to be 13-3 like the Super Bowl.
No. Too many weapons out there. Jalen Ramsey can only cover one guy. But, if Aaron Donald causes havoc, it can easily swing and be the Rams.
What I'm afraid of is Tom Brady getting hurt. and being out for the rest of the year.
I don't see that because
it's happening a lot.
Yeah, but I don't see him.
The quarterbacks are getting clear about it.
Yeah,
he watched Joe Burrow yesterday.
No, I was upset with that. That cost me. Joe Burrow's cost me. Oh, that cost me.
I didn't hit one parlay this weekend.
I know, man. I
had
one. Everybody,
even Dallas.
Everybody.
Exactly. That was my last go-to. Like, I know Minnesota, but nope. I was pulled it out at the end of the day. So yesterday was a horrible day.
I just got something I got to get off my chest.
Yes.
We're on the Philadelphia Eagles. I said it last week, and I don't know if they were early, but Ty was defending this quarterback. He's not here to talk about it today, of course. But when Jameis Winston had all these turnovers last year, he was out.
Quick with the quickness.
With the quickness. What's taking so long to give this young man a shot? He's putting the ball in harm's way. He's throwing 2 interceptions every week. Carson Wentz needs to see how the bench feels.
Well, you have Jalen Hurts, and they spent the first round draft pick on him. I think very soon you're gonna see them start him. There's no other way.
But you're not going to the Super Bowl, so what's the purpose?
Carson Wentz ain't got it no more.
No, he needs to change the scenery. He needs a whole change of scenery. If he went to a team like San Francisco,
send him to the Jets. Or like you said, San Francisco offense. With a good coach, short passes, know how to use them. Then they rely on the running game. I think it's time to see Jalen Hurts. Donatella, how are you enjoying all this sports talk?
You know what? I am enjoying it a lot. What I'm not listen to me.
How do you enjoy it?
Listen to me. I was holding my own. Kiss, tell him I was holding my own before you came out here. I know you think I don't know.
I was watching.
But you know what? I have to say, and here goes the girly part of me. I am not filling these headphones with my afro. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything to me. Luckily, I'm in love with my Rihanna forehead, so it's fine. But I was not prepared. Oh, so Diddy is gonna pull up?
Yes, he's gonna show up.
Oh,
I think
wonderful.
I just think they're a little late than usual.
Yeah, they're on CP time. That's okay.
Happy birthday, Emmy, too. Hey, if you watch it.
Happy birthday. And look, Emmy.
Sorry I missed your Zoom call.
That's all right, but guess what, Emmy? We've got the special balloons up for you.
Like a Zoom party.
You weren't invited, bud?
I begged to be invited. I'm sorry. I had to beg. I
don't take it personally.
Emmy, we take it back our happy birthday wish.
They know I love Emmy. They just assumed that I was probably too busy. I get it.
Oh, I think a lot of people.
Loves the kids, you know it.
That's awesome. I mean, I wasn't invited either, but that's fine. I don't really know them, but so that's great. I will say though that I am happy to be here. I think this dynamic and listening to you guys chop it up. And Pete, I have not seen you without a mask in so long. I forgot what your face looked like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I always got these things on. Man.
No, as you should with Inside Dining. You should. And I'm always the person for the little promos reminding people that you can come here and sample this cuisine as well. We're at 189 Bridge Street. You can come sit in, attend the sports show at a safe social distance location. You could be at your table, connected to the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitch, whatever, and then you can leave comments and stuff.
Also, we would love to bring people on if they're, remotely. You want to come on the show? We have, we can bring you all live, right? All you need is your cell phone.
Oh, goodness. Daddy, did you hear that? You can join in just
we'll send you the link. Bada bing, bada boom.
And I think that's nice. I think we actually should make sure that your the show on Monday should have a guest. should have someone chime in. So you guys, and we should be sharing the link as we go on live. I know you gentlemen have friends and family and things of that nature. You got the big tube screen in the front so you can see the comments. I'm gonna put the camera back on UP and let you talk because my jollof rice is getting cold.
All right. What was I gonna say?
What about all the news happening in the NBA?
That's good. It's a good question. I don't like Marc Gasol to the Lakers.
When did that happen?
Last night, I believe, but I don't really like it. I think Dwight Howard, they didn't give him.
What happened there? Because Dwight Howard talked about him
staying to the Lakers.
And then 2 hours later, he's in Philadelphia.
They said Embiid called him or something or reached out to him.
Embiid?
Yeah, like he went.
So the White changed his mind. It wasn't that the Lakers.
No, it wasn't that the Lakers did.
They brought in Howard like immediately.
No, they was going to bring in Howard anyway. Like they wanted to contribute to Clippers and get their best post player.
And they traded JaVale.
Yeah, they traded him to Cleveland. He's just rotting there. That's sad. Sorry, Cleveland, but it's sad. He don't play there, man.
So now you think with all these changes, are they good enough to win?
I don't think the team is better than it was last year. I don't like. They're saying that shooters are upgrade from Rondo. I would find that as bull crap.
Who's the upgrade?
They're saying shooters are upgrade. Like when I see people talk, they're saying that he's a great. I don't think he has the mind.
Schroeder would not have won them the championship.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think
he can't face LeBron. What was special about Rondo is Rondo said, "Listen, it's my time. We're going to orchestrate this offense the way I see it. LeBron, step aside." Schroeder doesn't get to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I don't know. Like if you watched him in OKC. He was more.
He's not a rebounder.
He was more of a guard to give his offense.
Exactly. He's not a rebounder. He's not
a guard that set up the offense. So, like, if the Lakers is asking him to score, then fine. But the intangibles that Rondo brought to the game, the passing, getting people over shots, giving LeBron James a break off the ball, like he did all of that. So I don't see Shooter doing that. And Dwight Howard was able to beat Jokic up from Denver. He was able to be physical with him. I don't see Gasol doing that.
Not only do I, they had McGee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they was able to. Now
it's
always doing that. You don't want to wear Anthony Davis.
I'm not going to do that.
To make room for Marc Gasol. It's like they didn't want Golden State to get him. Like it's like they're trying to just snatch people away.
They're doing too much.
But I also like Golden State. Though I like the move that they made. Kelly Oubre. I think they're gonna this way. Yes, I think that Golden State is gonna be better than a lot of people think. Because you're gonna play the rookie. He can get you 14 or 15 points. He's skilled. He's probably one of the top 10 players in the draft. I think you can take Edwards, him, and the player the Knicks got. I think those are the 3 best players in the draft. We had to ask him today.
You got Obi good?
Yeah, I think he's good, bro. He can shoot it right. He shot 40% from 3-point line, bro.
I saw that.
Like at the end of the day, I watched the kid. I know, like, listen, I watched him for a long time.
When I say I was so excited.
Yeah, I was happy because I usually, like, with the Steph Curry, with the standard, like, I was sitting there looking at my phone, like, come on.
Like, don't do it to us.
And then when it happened, they didn't pick him. I said, I know the Knicks better pick him. Stephen A. Smith talking about they need a guard. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're always talking some foolishness. We need a player. We need a player.
You know the excitement? Everyone flying around the basket like that.
Yeah, but we need guard play. No. It's pretty guards in the league. We need a player. A guard wants to play with somebody that when they give it the ball, they can put it in the hole with some type of excitement. No, he knows what he's talking about. He's a New York fan, man, and I'm not going to hate him because we've been back for a long time. Terrible. So it's a frustration takes over. I think he's a quality rotation player.
Is he a starter? Is he the starter?
He doesn't start.
Who's our point guard?
That's a good question.
I think that's Austin Rivers.
No. Can't start Austin Rivers. They would be trying to. No.
Who's going to put you up in there?
I don't know.
You going to put Alfred?
They released it.
They signed him back for 5 years. 5 mil.
5 years, 5 mil?
No. 1 year, 5 mil.
Oh, 1 year, 5 mil. Okay, let him sit. You got
So Alfred over Austin?
Yes.
Why?
Because we need somebody that's going to run an offense.
You don't think Austin Rivers can do that?
No. Austin Rivers is a scoring body. He plays like I used to play. Like, you want to score the ball. Like, Austin Rivers is there to give you 10 to 12 versus anybody. And he can do that. Like, if you want him to close the games, I can see that. He doesn't need to start it. You got to get these. You got to get Barrett the ball. You got to continue to let him develop. You got to get the rookie Tompkins. He has to get his touches. You want these guys to develop, not be held back because this guy wants to average 20 and show the league that Rivers. That's what I'm saying. You want these guys to develop, and that's what New York needs. New York needs to develop these guys so other guys can want to come play.
I think we're right. 1 month away from the season start. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's a lot of excitement. What do you think is going to happen with the Harden deal? You think they're going to get it done or is it?
I think he's going to be this I do.
No, that's right. He ain't a
They
big
ain't get rid of Dennis yet? Nah, they got to get rid of Dennis.
So Jared Harper, that's who it is.
I don't know who the hell that is.
I don't know who that is either. But if it's out of those guys, you might as well start really.
I'm looking at the roster right now for Knicks. I don't
know if I like Harden. I don't know if I like him.
I don't like it. I think it's too much.
Like I don't know.
We've been waiting for Kyrie and Durant. That's what I want to do. I don't need a third guy. It's too much.
And then, like, listen, they got
these are the 3 megastar, not superstars.
No, but
3 megastar. It's too much.
You got the production already there with LeVert and Dinwiddie. That production is there. They can get you that 25 points.
With better defense.
Yeah, with better defense and probably less shots.
It rounds out your rotation better.
Yeah, like listen, it's just a case like you don't know. I'm not wishing it on them. Kyrie's been injured. Durant's been injured. Their insurance that if Kyrie gets injured again, they'll still have to be a quality team. You got somebody that can step in and give you 20 a game and it's proven. You don't have to worry about where's the offense coming from. Where's the like James Harden, and then you're gonna have to switch the whole offense around.
But I think what's helping us right now is that Houston doesn't want to let him go. So they're not accepting any kind of realistic trade-off.
If he doesn't want to play there, he's not going to want to play there. Bears going to start booing him. He's going to go through one of those seasons to where he just forces his way out of there. We do for him. No, but I think he was faithful to Houston. Now I believe he's at the point where he wants to try to win. Like I don't think he feels like he really wants to win. They've done everything, but it just didn't work. So sometimes the marriage, like he's looking at it like, yo, I can't do no more here. I'll go down as one of the best scorers ever. How does that usually play out? I go down as one of the best scorers ever. No championship. I've been a man in Houston forever. Or do I try to go somewhere where I'm still productive, maybe take less shots, average?
So let me ask you, if you were the GM of Houston, how would you work? You have 2 building blocks, Westbrook and Harden. How do you build around that? How do you make that work?
I don't believe that you can. I don't feel like you can build around that. I don't feel that you can build.
So you think it's a losing scenario, period?
Yeah, I think
there's no way to put a team on around
that. You can tell the difference between Westbrook and Chris Paul. Yes, you can tell. And you can tell by the players that surround. And that's not saying Westbrook is a bad teammate or a bad player.
So you're saying
Chris Paul navigates the system. He's able, when James Harden takes his break, they're still able to run the offense. Where guys get quality looks. If someone has a mismatch, he's good enough to continue to make it happen, which is Chris Paul. Chris Paul runs a team. Westbrook is a great talent. He passes the ball. I'm not saying he doesn't, but the way the offense flows, it doesn't work.
okay now, but what if you bring in a different offense? Part of the problem, I think, was D'Antoni's offense. If you bring in an offense then you actually have an offense. What they were doing last year, that small ball is not going to work. You can't beat any good team with a 6'4" center. How are you going to get rebounds? You're not going to hit all your shots in a 7-game series.
I get that. I get that totally. I don't understand that, but that was desperation. That was them saying, this big man ain't giving us nothing. They felt like they paid him and it was a mistake.
Capella, right?
Yeah, they
How did they get rid of him?
No, because he had no offensive game. Listen, Tyson Chandler, yeah, he had no offensive game. You can't throw him. If you can't throw the guy a ball and get you a jump hook or post move, useless. He catches an alley-oop. Tyson Chandler was on.
No,
Tyson Chandler, they played Chris Paul. No, he's not, bro. No, he's not. You're gonna see. You're gonna find out, right? You're gonna find out when he's on Atlanta. If it ain't an alley-oop, he's not gonna score. Like if the point guard don't throw him an alley-oop, he's not gonna score.
But they don't really. When you have Harden and Westbrook, and this is what I'm saying about building a team, right? If you have Capella in there as your center to rebound and block shots and give you maybe 8 points a game, build around all of that. Get a good, really good power forward. Get a really good small forward.
You know why I don't know why I'm spending my time going back and forth with you about Houston? Because they had a good power forward. They had Carmelo Anthony. And
Carmelo's the in-betweener.
But listen, he was able, somebody that could space the floor, obviously showed that last year in Portland. So once they show this, he was somebody that could score.
Once again, that's D'Antoni. D'Antoni had it in the trap.
All right. So if I'm James Harden,
I think Carmelo is perfect in the way they have an important, which unfortunately, even though they signed him, I don't think he's going to have that same role because they went and got the young boy. They went and got the guy from Houston.
yeah, but they still gonna play.
He's going to come off the bench.
That's fine. He has to, like, listen, he knows that they're, like, Carmelo knows that they're not bullshitting in Portland.
You know where I would have loved Carmelo? Golden State.
Yeah, I see you say that.
You saw it, right? You saw it, right? I went on Carmelo State and said, yo.
Find your way to Golden State. You did that. I see it. I definitely did.
No, but I think you know,
But listen,
because Big Boy will play the power forwards.
but listen, you gotta
Carmelo can slide in there.
No, you gotta look at it though. Carmelo does the right things, right? He does the right things, right?
Yes.
He averages, he comes off the bench. Say he comes off the bench, he averages 10 between 8 and 12.
I think you start him just for GP. He really doesn't play starter minutes. You start him.
That's fine. But I'm thinking that he's comfortable there to accept any role that you give him because he knows that he has a relationship with you. You're not going to bullshit him. You're not just going to tell him one thing and then kick him 10 games later like we used to do. So, like, yeah, like he understands and he respects the stars there. He has a relationship with Dame and CJ. Like, he respects them. So he's like, yo, you know what? I could do this here. I could, play the rest of my years here if they're allowed to.
And I think they're going to be a better team. They got their other center back. He's going to be fully healthy. I just hope Dame and
no, they got Cantor. They got Cantor there.
They got Cantor back.
Yeah, they got Cantor back. Portland's doing a lot of
I can't wait for the NBA. It's going to be an amazing
season.
Every night is going to be even just to have the Knicks. They're not going to win anything, but to have them just competing, you got a good coach. They're not tanking. They're not playing every game to tank. They're actually playing the best players on the team.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't gonna watch the Knicks for a year
until I saw it.
Until I saw the draft.
Absolutely.
Yes, I wasn't gonna watch them all year. The Knicks were dead to me until the draft. Until the draft, I say, you know what? Okay.
I mean, I'm feel like this. I'm more excited, even though we're Brooklyn Knights and my Durant. I'm more excited to watch the Knicks develop. Now, what's going to happen is as we move to the playoffs, that's going to shift to the Nets. But that's what we want to miss. In the beginning, I want to see what the Knicks are all about and how all of that's going to work. And I hate the fact that D'Antoni's on the Nets. Why did they go get this?
So that's a
D'Antoni. I hate
that's a Steve Nash relationship, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that because Steve Nash, that's showing love.
True.
It's MVP years. It's like
D'Antoni set him up.
Yeah, so put on like
all the way.
Put on, and that's a respect. It's like, yo, listen. You're off your block. I'm living ravage. I gotta come get you. No, come on, come get a check. You're not even sure though. But go get the check. Like, listen, you gotta do it. Yes, like, and that's what he did. You know, he put a ball in there. Like he looked out for his boys.
MJ, can I get a yerba mate?
Right, and that's what I think Steve Nash looked at him. He saved the bucket. Because you don't know if D'Antoni's ever going to get hired again.
He shouldn't be.
I'm not saying he should, bro.
And you know who I blamed for Carmelo's? It was D'Antoni.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
D'Antoni started on nonsense, and then it spilled into Phil Jackson. And they literally cost us 5 good years of basketball.
But I think people, but really,
no one's going to retire late.
But people like us, like,
can you imagine if they've been building all those years around getting Melo?
I think people,
his team, his point guard,
people like us, right? People like us got to start challenging the media, and the players are right. I'm gonna tell you
that's why we're doing this.
Because people have to challenge the media because if they say you can't pass, right? The narrative you can't pass. So instead of you getting instead of you getting $10 million contract, they'll give you a $2 million contract or the veteran minimum, whatever. It's just because you're saying it. So when I heard Draymond Green go on TNT and he's like, yo, listen, y'all former players. When y'all say that, it means something. He's right. So if I'm gonna go for, I can't like you if you're the reason I'm not getting $10 million, I'm not getting the veteran minimum. And having this tell them that when they see it, it's wrong.
It's wrong. It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
And that's what I'm saying.
And they're just not like the guy and just spread negative opinions about it.
And when you see, like, listen, and that's why we gotta challenge them. If we don't like it, we gotta go at them because, long story short, it's wrong. Especially when we feel it's wrong. Because you're costing people millions, one, and you're not right.
They're ruining the game.
You're going to make people retire early. How many people kicked out of the league? It's gone. Just gone. Why? Because they said that this guy doesn't play defense.
Now, let me ask you, good point. How does Ice Cube League, how does it come out after the way Ice Cube came off looking for the election? Do you think his league is still going to be viable? Is still going to thrive, or you think it kind of took a hit?
No, I think Ice Cube is solid. I don't think nothing about Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube is a leader. Could he have done it differently? Absolutely. But I'm thinking he's more in a position, like he's taking it as a position of leader. He wants to go figure out.
Well, one of the things that I think people found out was that it became news because of the thing that happened is now they're saying, well, it's not really his league. It's this white man's league. But he's just the face of it. You know, so well, you didn't hear that a year ago when everything was all good. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to minimize, you know what I'm saying, like, shit on him level.
Well, listen, you can't. It's a conversation set in stone. You can't. And that's what I'm saying. You can't shake IQ. You know who he is. He's from an era that things were totally different. This era was 10 times more worse than the era we're in now. He's from a different time zone. Not don't face him. And that's what I'm saying, right?
So the big three is see, you heard it first. The big three is still solid.
Yes, it's solid.
It's here to stay.
Listen, Ice Cube is solid with me. We don't make mistakes, but I can't fault him
for trying.
I could never be mad at that. Like we said, he said what he said afterwards, and I respect it. Like we said, he's a doer. He ain't sitting on the couch just sitting there like.
I'm not saying it. I'm not willing to take the hit.
Exactly.
He knew what was going to come from, you know.
Exactly. But that's a lot of things. Like, listen, you got to be judgmental. You got to stop being so judgmental as people. You got to give people more opportunity. Just open the door. Let them land and do it. When we start just throwing our own con in the bus, what does it say about us? We gotta let him figure it out.
And look, at the end of the day, and just like we were on with Brother Dynasty Man, at the end of the day, these people just want the best for black folk. By any means necessary. You know, we may disagree on how we get there, but the fact is we just want to see our people not being taken advantage of, not being used, not being abused, you know? And we just have to be more careful in how we walk that walk, you know, so we don't trip over landmines. You have anything to share, Miss Toastess?
No, I am still eating and sipping and listening. At the beginning of the show, I did say that I literally had not been keeping up with a lot of things that were going on, except for the things that drew my attention. And now I think
we got a lot more views when you're on.
So this is great. They're probably trying to figure out what's going on with this afro, as the pandemic is keeping me from my wonderful stylist at the moment. But no, I found all the conversation interesting, especially the comments that you said about Carmelo, because I don't know if you remember, Carmelo used to live upstairs. I don't know if you even knew that. When he was playing for the Knicks, he lived upstairs.
It's not that I didn't know. Okay, no, I did not know that. I thought he was interested in moving here. I didn't know he was actually here.
Maybe that was
it.
He
was interested in owning the penthouse.
Oh, at the time
the
Rays
was a little bit overvalued. So what he wanted to pay, and he didn't want to pay. Because he wanted to move to Brooklyn, so he ended up getting a spot in Dumbo.
Okay.
But he considered upstairs.
I think at the time when he initially was looking, I think the people who owned Rays owned upstairs for a little while, and then they moved, and I thought he moved in after that.
No.
Oh, okay.
We know what was going on by there. We were in there. We know the history. Once we moved in, we knew the history. We became the unofficial landlords of 189 Bridge Street, whether they like it or not.
Absolutely. I remember.
We knew more about it.
Yeah. Well, and I lost connection when I moved from around the corner, but it used to be popping in that building back in 14 to 16 when I lived around the corner. I couldn't figure out how all those dollar van drivers got in.
No, it was different.
It was.
I mean, quite frankly, it's about value. Like if this building was owned by a different set of people that actually knew how to manage all that was going on, it would have increased the stock of this entire neighborhood.
Absolutely.
You see? But when you have an adversarial relationship with what's going on and not understand how to use it to your advantage, you end up in darkness. And no one cares. And a lot of people have moved into different places and into different situations because these people didn't know how, and it hurt their property value. This could have been the highest of the highest top spots to be in if they knew how to manage.
Absolutely.
Because every week there was a video crew here shooting videos.
I
know. Every week. MTV was here. You name it, movies would be. And then,
Well, I think the problem is like with anything, people start to believe their own media that they read, and then they forget that you get this reputation, and you're only as good as the last time someone said that.
Absolutely.
And I know for a fact that's what happened.
Look, if to anyone else out there, listen, just give us the contract. We will help you do whatever you need to do.
Absolutely.
We know what's going on. We can handle it. We got security.
Yeah.
We have business developers. We have website building. You name it, we got it. So
Absolutely.
if you're out there, you have a whole bunch of money, don't know what to do with it, come to 189 Street.
Set up the meeting.
Set up the meeting. You know what I'm saying? We got
I
you.
know.
You what I'm saying?
And if you really about it, we can go live with the discussion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, they gonna know our word soon enough. They gonna know our word.
I know.
But no, it's been a great show, guys. Thank y'all for coming. I think we're getting ready to play some spades. You know, if we can get a fourth person here.
I play spades.
You know, you don't want this kind of spades.
I play spades. I play Jim Rummy.
I'll be broadcasting.
Hey, yo, we getting hot. It's hard. We got a hard 7 days until you come back. This game where you hate yourself.
Oh no.
So we play single man spades. So we're on the partners.
Oh,
So you don't have
okay.
anyone to blame. You can't blame.
Got it.
Nobody's playing with you. You only blame yourself.
Got
So
it.
there's no point, and you can't point fingers. You just gotta accept it. You
Yeah,
lost.
make your book.
Yeah. So, you know, there are nights when you have a guy come in and one guy beats you 3 straight times. Like, he shows his dominance. You know, in your life. So that's the kind of situation we're in. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Absolutely.
Tom Brady's running home tonight.
And remember, I'm always the person to be the doctor in the room. Remember, Governor Cuomo said no Thanksgiving meetings over 10 people. So, social distance. Don't put your grandma at risk, please.
You're right. Absolutely. Whatever he said.
Plan
He said.
properly, be safe, people. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.
Good night.
Peace. Have a good one.